The response to last week's commentary was unusually strong, in a positive way. And I'd like, if I might, as a follow-up, to do an addendum on last week, and then return hereafter to the kinds of subject matters which normally engage AIDS-free world in these commentaries. I'm taping this on Thursday, January the 16th, and while I'm taping it, there's a meeting in Canada House in London, where the various countries that lost nationals, lost citizens in that terrible missile-driven tragedy of the plane crash, they've all gathered together to look at criminal liability, to look at how do they return the remains of the deceased, to look at whether or not there are principles of compensation. And the voice that is strongest in all of this at the moment, and most vocal quite predictably, is that of the Canadian Prime Minister, because Canada lost fully 57 people, we now know exactly, of Iranian descent in that tragedy. And Prime Minister Trudeau is asked again and again and again, how did it happen? And he says, choosing his words with care and being circumspect, I think I'm quoting him almost exactly, that if it weren't for the increase, the acceleration in the Middle East, then the people who died would be at home with their families at this point. And this is the consequence of conflict and war. Well, Canadians aren't so circumspect. The Prime Minister has to worry about the insanity that occupies the White House in Washington, but many, many Canadians are quite forthright and unequivocal through the pain and the anguish of what happened. And for them, there is a direct cause and effect between the assassination of the Iranian general and the unexpected consequence of the plane crash. And I think many Canadians recognize that there is a criminal category for what happened. And that category is called involuntary manslaughter, with the emphasis on the slaughter. And if you were guilty of involuntary manslaughter in California, you could be in prison for up to 10 years. If it was a federal crime, for up to 12 years. If it was occurring in Florida, for up to 15 years. And I don't doubt that there are many Canadians who feel that a 15-year sentence for Donald Trump is entirely legitimate. In fact, there are undoubtedly some Canadians who feel that a lifelong incarceration without the right of parole would be equally legitimate. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.